Man.
Ooh, Iceman.
Iceman.
We're not talking Bobby Drake.
We're not talking Bobby Drake. In fact...
And we're not even talking the dude from Top Gun, I'm going to guess.
No. In fact, the dude we're talking about is a Dutch fella named Wim Hof.
Wim Hof?
Wim Hof. Wim is an extreme athlete. He's known for his ability to withstand freezing temperatures. He has set Guinness World Records for swimming under ice and prolonged full-body contact with ice, and previously he held the record for a barefoot half marathon on ice and snow.
No, thank you so very much.
He attributes these feats to his Wim Hof method, a combination of frequent cold exposure, breathing techniques, and meditation. And you know how I said that heroes come from many methods? They're born that way. They acquire their powers later in life, or they Batman for it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wim is a Batman. Wim is a very focused Batman.
Gotcha.
He has exposed himself to cold on a regular basis for a very long time, and he's gotten used to handling its effects to the point where most of them he doesn't notice anymore. And he's swum like 60 meters under ice.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
So Wim is a pretty amazing guy.
Absolutely.
But this is all training. This is all him training to do this, which I'm not sure if it makes him a superhero, although, the ability to resist cold might come in handy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the name, so we could put him in our group with, we've got Wim Hof and we've got Uri Geller. So far we've got a telekinetic and an Iceman.
Okay.
After those three, I think it's important we take a moment for a word from our sponsors.
Definitely. Let's do that.
Yay! Sponsors!
So you guys having fun this episode?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So am I. All right, let's talk not a person, but a group.
A group?
A group.
You found a superhero group?
Kind of.
Is this the circus people we were talking about?
No. These are Buddhist monks.
Oh, that's what these are.
Gotcha.
Now, Buddhist monks have demonstrated various abilities. Now, again, they were not born with these abilities. These are Batman abilities. These are things they trained for. And comics has reflected this because there are a lot of characters, or at least were, that were trained as monks up to a point and then use those powers as part of their super gimmick. Just off the top of my head, a Marvel guy called the Shroud was trained as a monk. And then, although not a Buddhist monk, but he was trained as a monk. And I want to say there's a female character named White Lotus that has monk training from the DC universe, but I could be wrong on that one. I don't know my DC as well as my Marvel. But the point is that, for example, things that they've seen Buddhist monks do. Monks using a yoga technique called Ji-Tumo raise the temperature of their fingers and toes by as much as 17 degrees.
Wow. That's definitely warming things up.
Also, using advanced meditation, they have seen monks that could lower their metabolism by 64%.
Well then.
In 1985, a Harvard research team made a video of monks drying cold, wet sheets with body heat alone.
Mm.
And these monks spending winter nights 15,000 feet high in the Himalayas is not uncommon. You've got cold resistance, you've got the heat generation, you've got all of these things. And it's a method that comics have used for a long time to develop some of their superheroes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, doesn't that kind of play into, and I'm just shooting off the hip because you did a great job and there was lots of research on your part and that's awesome. But just pulling out of my memory and my knowledge, doesn't a lot of that, at least with the monks or where the monks are concerned, a lot of that plays into them, using focus, and they say that they can channel spiritual energies. And
the chi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it seems to me that they've attributed some of that to them using maybe parts of their brain that we just don't average use because we don't give that energy.
That's a potential that's a potential thing. It's also quite possible that our bodies generate energy that most of us never learn how to use, and that they have learned how to access it for a few interesting feats.
Yeah.
Like drying sheets or raising the temperature of their hands and feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd totally play with that. There are times that, poor Crystal and her hands get so cold.
I have a disease called
Hashimoto's, baby girl.
Hashimoto's disease. I have that, and it makes me, cold. Really cold.
Yes.
But right now, my face is warm, and I'm not sure if my hand's cold. I don't think it is.
Not like it can be sometimes. Your hand actually feels pretty good and soft. So soft.
I've been using lotion a lot.
Good girl.
Lotion and a lot of hand soap.
You have to do that in COVID time that we're in now, for sure.
Now, I guess it's important that we talk about the guy that hosted that show that wasn't Stan Lee, Daniel Browning Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before he hosted the show, they used to call him the Rubber Boy.
The Rubber Boy.
Yes.
Not for the reason I'm thinking, I'm sure.
No, not for the reason you're thinking. He's ultra flexible. Literally, he can put his body through a tennis racket.
Oh.
Like, if you take the string out, he can put his entire body through a tennis racket.
No way.
That's creepy.
It's terrifying. Where are your organs, my man?
Well, part of it is he suffers from a disease called, and I want to get this right, so let me look it up.
So it's sort of like mutation, or...
I guess he has Hypermobile Ehlers-Dandrus syndrome. There are 13 versions of the Ehlers-Dandrus syndrome. Those affected by the condition have extremely mobile joints, which are vulnerable to dislocation, and skin which is easily bruised. While many people with this disease have severe muscle and bone pain alongside a range of autonomic nervous system and endocrine problems, Smith experiences only moderate pain.
Only moderate pain.
Only moderate. Yeah.
Now, so, and that's a thing that I've noticed. A lot of these people that seem to have superpowers pay for it in some way. Like, in his case, he has this Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. that's a common thing with our supers.
Sure.
Now, let's talk about Rajmohan Nair.
Wow, you said that well.
I tried.
My patience mostly, but that time he did really well.
Now, he's sometimes called Electricity Mohan or Electroman.
Mm-hmm. His last name reminds me of a mower, like a lawnmower.
Well, he's able to withstand several amps of electricity passing through his body without suffering any harm. In fact, he will grab an electrical power source and then grab like the ends of a blender or a light switch, and he'll let the current pass through him, and he'll activate the blender or turn on the light.
Wow, that's creepy.
Holy squirrels, it's like the Danky of the human world.
Yep, for sure, I think.
Anime character. The only one who would understand that is Chloe.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't shoot lightning bolts from his hands or anything, but he can power up a light bulb or an electric blender by grabbing 2 live wires and allowing massive amounts of current to pass through his body.
Wow.
He is not the only guy that has done this. Mm-hmm. Circus performers have done this for various years. Not all of them, mind you, but there have been circus performers that's been their trick. Again, you're dealing with something that, again, I don't think that this was an ability he was born with.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a Batman thing. Something he learned to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think, and my reason for saying that is because there have been a few circus performers who have done this sort of stuff.
Okay.
And so, if more than one person is doing it, it's got to be something you can learn. How you learn it, I don't know. But I have to assume it is a learned thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets to go in the group, though, with Wim Hof and with our Iceman and our telekinetic.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
Now, we're going to get into Bob Mundon. Now, Bob was, at one point, called the world's fastest gunslingers. He was featured on Superhumans, where he shot 2 balloons 6 feet apart in less than a tenth of a second.
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's my problem with this. He claims to have won over 3,500 shooting trophies.
Okay.
He doesn't have them. Don't know where they are, but he doesn't have them. He claims to have won these. He also claims to have won several things. His record, though, for winning doesn't show these things, and Guinness recently sort of disbarred him from their books. I mean, mind you, he died a few years ago, so that's probably why, but...
Yeah.
Oh.
And my problem is I don't know how fast that is. 2 balloons 6 feet apart in less than a tenth of a second sounds really fast.
But I haven't watched it with my real eyes, so I'm not willing to take it in.
Yeah,
like that.
And that's the thing. And again, it's a Batman thing. Could anybody learn to shoot that fast? Absolutely they could. If they want to put the time, energy, and attention into it.
If you know how to shoot that fast, you know how to click super fast, which means you could pause a video in, like, 1 millisecond.
So, let's talk about Dean Carnazis. Now, Dean is amazing to me because he just might be a real mutant.
Oh.
He doesn't appear to suffer from fatigue toxins while running. Essentially, you get tired because lactic acid builds up in your bloodstream. And it causes you to tire and wear out. And eventually, enough of it will make you weak and you'll just go, oh, heck.
Burgers.
And you'll...
Having love and dragon biscuits. I can't do this no longer.
But Dean Carnazis, he was on Superhumans.
Mm-hmm.
They were testing him, and literally his body seems to just clear out fatigue toxins, clear out these lactates in his blood, or converts them to energy.
Well, that would be useful.
And he is one that I'm going to say was